Yo, what is up, guys? Ethan here, back in another video. And man, oh man, what a round of 64 this was for this March Madness tournament. If you haven't already, hit that like and subscribe button. I would really appreciate it. I said I was going to have a recap every day. I might do that for the Sweet 16, but for the round of 64, I wasn't able to. But I have to get a recap out because there's so many amazing things and fantastic moments that have happened in this tournament already. And what this is going to show is this tournament is going to be legendary. As a New Jersey native, I have to start out with the two massive upsets. And they're on the thumbnail for a reason. Number 16, FDU defeated the 1 seed Purdue, and then the 15 seeded Princeton defeated the number 2 seed Arizona. FDU is the second ever 16 seed to defeat the number 1 seed. FDU had control of the majority of the game, and the main thing with Purdue is they were not they did not want to shoot 3-pointers, and when they did want to shoot threes, they just didn't make them, as they were 5 from 26 from the 3-point line. But FDU really didn't shoot well either, as they were 7 from 23. Purdue out-rebounded FDU, but it was only 42-33. And when you have a guy like Zach Edey, that's kind of inexcusable in my opinion. And overall, Purdue's turnovers killed him, man. It killed him. And because of this, FDU was able to take control. They've had the heart in the game. Purdue really didn't seem to want it until the final 3 minutes of this game. And it's just this is just going to go deeper than this game. The future of Purdue is just going to be a laughingstock at this game. The future of 16 seeds, FDU, and overall basketball could be changing. FDU had the overall smallest roster in all college basketball. Purdue had the tallest roster in all college basketball. What this game proved is if you have the heart and the skill set, you can defeat any team out there. And it's basically hard over height in this game. I've been seeing a lot of people say it, and it's absolutely correct. FDU is going to be playing, I'm trying to think. FDU is going to play FAU. We will get to FAU in a little bit, as that game was absolutely amazing. But congrats to FDU, man. You really deserved it. And just overall a fantastic game. Now the next game, number 15 Princeton over Arizona. And Arizona was not good in this game. And I think it was very apparent from the start of this game on. Both teams were shooting around 40%, which was good, and both teams could not hit a 3-pointer to save their lives. But the thing that just killed them at the end was, I'm looking at it, it was just a very balanced game. Similar steals. Princeton had way more blocks in the paint, which is kind of crazy, because Arizona is known for their big men. So I'm just looking at the stats here. It is phenomenal, man. It was very evenly balanced. Both were shooting the same. Similar rebounds, similar assists, similar steals, similar turnovers and fouls. It's all the same besides blocks. Princeton favored that 6-1. And Arizona just they had it at the first half. Princeton just kept on fighting and fighting. And then Arizona choked the lead. And wow, man. Phenomenal game from Princeton. Now, I will say this throughout multiple games throughout this video. As you know, my bracket's totally busted already. I was thinking Arizona could lose this game. I had Arizona losing to Utah State in the round of 32. I knew this Arizona team was not going to go far. And I was thinking they could lose to Princeton, but I ultimately decided to keep Arizona in the majority of all my brackets, because I didn't know Princeton's skill set would be on the same thing. What this game taught me is Arizona is capable of losing to any single team in college basketball. Next game, another upset. Number 13 Furman over number 4 Virginia. One of the best endings I've seen in a March Madness game. I watched this at school and at home. Yes, I'd be grinding these games. But Virginia, you were good in the mid-range and in the paint, but you sucked shooting threes, as you're only 2 from 12. Furman was 10 for 28, having 35%. It was a little iffy on both sides. But Kihei Clark was one of the main reasons Virginia won in 2019. Absolutely sold at the end of this game, and Furman came back in this game and ultimately defeated Virginia in this game 68 to 67. And I think I had this in my no, I didn't. Did I have it in my NCAA bracket? I don't know. I have like 6 brackets, but I would say I was pretty split on this game. But man, Virginia's just been down bad as of recently, man. You lose to Ohio 2021. Then you have the UMBC loss. And then you won it all in 2019. And then this. Like, if Tony Bennett can't get out of the first round, he has to fix something. They need to get shooters on this team. Reese Beekman is a really good player. Kead Clark is a really good player. But they're inconsistent shooting. I really like Beekman too, man. I really do. But Virginia needs to get shooters on this team. I understand it's against what Tony Bennett really does and is known for this team. But if you can't have shooters, you're not going to go far in the tournament. Well, let me say this. If you don't have a good offense overall, you're not going to go far in this tournament. Even though March Madness is mainly known as a defensive game, you see a lot of these 3-and-D teams go super far. So that's why I'm kind of high on San Diego State. But, Virginia, man, disappointing yet again in the tournament. Tony Bennett needs to figure out something offensively, man. He really does. A game that shocked me a little bit was Duke versus Oral Roberts. I thought it was going to be a close game. I had Duke winning it, but it was a plain-out blowout from the start of this game. Oral Roberts could not hit a single shot for like the first 8 minutes. Something outlandish like that. They could not hit a single shot. Oral Roberts made 19 of their 63, only barely 30%, and 25% from 3. One of the best 3-point shooting teams in all college basketball. That's inexcusable, man. You got way out rebounded to, this was overall an awful game for Oral Roberts. And this draw was just plain out bad for them, man. It really was. And I was very surprised with this Duke defense. I was astonished by this Duke defense. Let me put it that way. Derek Lively was getting every single block you can think of. Duke had 6 blocks. Derek Lively had 6 blocks. He had all blocks for Duke in this game. And he also had 7 steals on top of that. It was a phenomenal game. Jeremy Roach is on the cover for a reason. He was shooting the ball fantastically. Just a bad draw for Oral Roberts, and I think Duke could blow out Tennessee next round, to be honest, because Tennessee struggled versus Louisiana. And we'll get to that actually right now. Tennessee defeated Louisiana, and it was a little bit of an iffy game. I will say that. But Tennessee found a way to win when Louisiana was on like a 13-point streak, or 13-0 run. And Tennessee had control, and then once Louisiana run, they fumbled everything. But they just do just enough at the end of the game to win. Tennessee's not going to go far. I've seen a few guys have them to like the Elite 8, which is kind of outlandish to me. But this Tennessee team is not going to go far, and I wouldn't be surprised if today Tennessee gets absolutely obliterated by Duke. Now let's talk about probably, in my opinion, the best overall game, FAU versus Memphis. Everyone was just hyping up the FDU win. That this game, man, it was amazing. This game was so fun to watch. The offense was very inconsistent, I will say that. They were trading back-to-back shots at one point in this game, and then another point in this game, for both teams, it was combined 21 of 24 missed shots. That's crazy. So, it was back and forth, back and forth. Kendrick Davis got hurt in this game. And if Memphis went on, I would be very concerned versus FDU in that matchup. Because if Kendrick Davis was hurt, this Memphis team is a completely different team. And we saw that in this game. They took Kendrick Davis out in the last final minutes for a better defensive stance because he was not even close to 100%. And he's not really that good defender to begin with. FAU took full advantage of that. And they won off a buzzer, well, not a buzzer beater, but a game winner. And FAU, I had the winner of this game going to defeat Purdue anyway. But this hurts because I had Memphis in a deep run in my bracket, in multiple. But FAU is a really good team. They know how to win. They've had 30 wins this year for a reason. Overall, fantastic game. FDU versus FAU is going to be a fantastic game. Kind of a crime that game's on True TV for whatever reason. But FAU is a really good team. They could 100% defeat FDU, and then they could beat a team like Duke or Tennessee in the Sweet 16. So this FAU team is very, very dangerous. I'm gonna try to speed it up a little bit here. Another game from last night that was absolutely phenomenal. TCU defeating Arizona 72-70. Mike Miles got hurt, but he played through the injury, and it was back and forth, man. At the end of this game, Arizona had a firm lead at one point in this game, but TCU comes back and wins this game. Coles had that little floater in the paint to win this game. This game was just so fun to watch, but I really don't know if TCU's going to have a chance versus Gonzaga. TCU's a little bit beat up right now, and Gonzaga looks really dominant this week versus Grand Canyon. So, TCU, great win, but I don't know how far you're going to go in the tournament. Penn State absolutely blew out Texas A&M. And that hurt because I had Texas A&M to the Final Four in my NCAA bracket. And I had a feeling the winner of this game could beat Texas. And A&M just matched up badly in this game. And Penn State was just red hot shooting. Almost 50% from field goals, 59% from three. 59%. Texas A&M even out-rebounded Penn State in this game. Like, the main reason Penn State won this game was the three-point shooting from Andrew Funk. He is on the thumbnail for a reason. 8 for 10 shooting three-pointers, 8 for 11 overall. He was unstoppable shooting the ball in this game. Jalen Pickett had a really good game as well, as he had 19 and 7 and 8. Like, Penn State looks dominant, and man, Penn State Texas is going to be one of the best matchups in the next round. Well, in my opinion, it could be the best matchup in the round of 32. But man, this Penn State team can go far, but Texas is going to be a tough match. Texas A&M, you just had an off night, but it was a good season overall for them. And when I talked about picked it up, I'm going to pick it up a little bit more here, like a lot more. Maryland, West Virginia, phenomenal game, very back and forth all throughout this game. Maryland barely squeaks it out. A little bit of questionable calls at the end, I will say that, but Maryland, you're going to go on to play Alabama. I don't know if you're going to beat Alabama, but you will go on to play them. Alabama took care of business versus Texas A&M Corpus Christi, even though Brandon Miller really didn't even play well. Now, to be honest, I don't know if he got hurt, fouled out. I didn't even watch the game. That was one of the two games I did not watch. I didn't watch that game and the Gonzaga game. Those were the only two games I didn't watch. I will be honest. I'm a man. I can't watch every single game. But Alabama should handle Maryland next round. Houston struggled a little bit versus Northern Kentucky. And the main reason, Marcus Sasser got hurt. And even though for the NCAA bracket I had UCLA winning it all, I had Houston in two of my other brackets. They're the only team I had the same team in two brackets winning it all. And the main issue is Marcus Sasser got hurt. And I have no clues if he's going to play in the Auburn game. I think Auburn has a way more likely chance to defeat Houston than I thought, especially with Sasser out. So I'm very concerned with this Houston team. So Northern Kentucky made it a game. They really didn't have the lead at any point in this game, but this game felt a lot closer than an 11-point spread the final was. Number 3, Xavier barely defeats Kennesaw State after coming back from, I want to say it was 13 points. And I was very sad at the end of this game, man. I had Kennesaw State in a few of my brackets actually winning versus Xavier. I don't think this Xavier team is going to go far. In my main bracket, not NCAA, but my main bracket, I had Pitt winning versus Xavier to go to the Sweet 16. And Pitt did win versus Iowa State, so I'll just talk about that right now real quick. Pitt was playing out dominant versus Iowa State. Iowa State could not hit a single shot. At one point, they played more minutes in the game than they had total points scored. Iowa State, I don't know what you're going to do, man. That was very, very embarrassing. Pitt could 100% beat Xavier if they just out-offense them, outscore them. But, Xavier, man, they did not impress me at all in this Kennesaw State game. Kennesaw State gave it all they got. They could 100% run through the A-Sun for the next few years, especially with Liberty now going to Conference USA. So, Kennesaw State, you have a bright future, man, but Xavier pulls out the W. San Diego State defeats number 12 Charleston. A lot of people surprisingly had Charleston winning this game. I was one of the people that thought San Diego State would match up perfectly versus them. It was a lot closer than I thought, but San Diego State got the win. Drake choked the lead massively versus Miami. Drake was on like a 6-0 run, and then Miami was like on an 8-1 run to end the game. And Drake could not hit a shot to save their lives in that final 2-minute span. It was embarrassing. I had Drake to the Sweet 16, and man, that game hurt. Miami could go far, though. But I'm not really sure how Miami is going to match up versus this Indiana squad, because Indiana looked red hot last night as they defeated Kent State. And I thought Kent State could have won that game. But Indiana just had full control throughout this entire game. And Kent State really was not able to come back, because once they got on a run, Indiana picked it up defensively, and then they got on a run. So, Kent State, this game also hurt me, because I thought Kent State could have gone really far in this tournament. They got upset. Well, they didn't get upset, but they lost in the first round. Number 6, Creighton defeated number 11, NC State. This game was a lot better and a lot closer than the final score really made it seem. Creighton won this game by 9, but Terquavion Smith absolutely balled out. One of the best dunks in the first round as well. But Creighton, they showed that they can basically compete with any team in this tournament. But we're going to have a tough matchup versus Baylor, because after being down at halftime, Baylor 100% picked it up in the second half, basically hitting a lot of their shots, and UCSB was not able to regain that lead. Baylor finished the game shooting over 50% for their field goal percentage, so that's really good for Baylor. And Baylor Creighton, man, I said Penn State Texas was the best round of 32 game. It might be Creighton versus Baylor. Missouri defeated number 10 Utah State. That hurt because I thought Utah State matched up well versus Missouri, but Missouri offensively was unstoppable, especially Kobe Brown, as he went on like a 10-0 run by himself. Great win for Missouri, as Missouri versus Princeton is going to be a really good matchup. Michigan State defeated number 10 USC. I had Michigan State winning this game, but it was very back and forth. Michigan State can 100% beat Marquette, as Marquette basically handled number 15 Vermont. It was a little bit close at certain points in this game, but Marquette had full control in this game. Number 6 Kentucky defeated number 11 Providence. It was just how I forget the dude from Davidson, but he was formerly on Michigan State. He transferred to Dayton. They played each other, and Michigan State absolutely dominated versus him. Man, it's bothering me. I forget his name. Well, that's exactly what happened with Bryce Hopkins today, as he did not have a good game at all. And personally, I think that entire Providence squad, unless you're like a graduate senior, well, let me just say this. Devin Carter and Bryce Hopkins should both return for Providence, and Providence could be a very scary team next year. But Kentucky goes on to the next round to face Kansas State. And Kansas State defeated Montana State, and this was a little bit of an iffy game. Kansas State had full control, but Montana State really didn't let them get that blowout win. They were very back and forth. It's weird to describe. Kansas State had a full control, but at any moment Montana State could have got it on run. They just didn't. The main issue was both teams really couldn't hit a 3 in that game, but Kansas State versus Kentucky, man, what a matchup that's going to be tomorrow. Arkansas defeated Illinois. Arkansas had full control in this game. Brad Underwood, one of the most overrated coaches in college basketball. You have heard it. He should potentially be on the hot seat. He does nothing in March, year in and year out. I really don't like Illinois. They've always been overrated to me. And this game proved it, as Arkansas basically never gave Illinois a chance to come back in this game. They will face Kansas, as Kansas struggled versus Howard in the first half. But then once the second half started, Kansas just beat down on Howard, not giving them a chance. And at the end of this game, they basically won by 30, if I'm not mistaken. Let me check that out real quick, because I don't remember the score from the top of my head. They basically won by 30. So Kansas just whooped Howard in the second half, and they're going to face Arkansas. Number 5, St. Mary's defeated VCU. VCU, again, really didn't have a chance in this game. St. Mary's always had full control in this game. Northwestern defeated number 10, Boise State. It was more back and forth as well, but I was more confident in Northwestern, as Boise State was dealing with a few injuries. UConn defeated Iona. Iona was keeping it close for during that. If I'm not mistaken, they had the lead in the half, but Sanogo was basically unstoppable in that second half for the Huskies, man. Great win for UConn, as they will face St. Mary's. And I'm trying to think of any other games I missed out on. The last game, number 2, UCLA just absolutely whooped UNC Asheville. UNC Asheville could have potentially had an upset, but UCLA just matched up perfectly with them. It was an overall bad draw for UNC Asheville, and UCLA is looking red hot versus Northwestern. And to be honest, I would not be surprised if UCLA whooped Northwestern next round. So that is it for the round of 64. I know it's a little bit sloppy. For the Sweet 16 day, well, not Sweet 16, round of 32 day 1 recap. I'll try to be a little bit more organized and know a little bit more on my facts. I will say that. But overall, great games all around. The biggest upset, obviously, FDU over number 1 Purdue. My personal favorite game, FAU defeating Memphis. Man, that was a phenomenal game. Furman, Virginia is up there, though. Furman, Virginia is up there. But what a fantastic round of 64. What was your favorite game, and what potential upsets do you have in next round? Like, share, subscribe, and like always, y'all, have a good day. Peace out.